Hello, this is Adam with Metex Corporation. In this video, I'll be showing you how to program a blowdown relay for a Walchem W600 controller. So, we are going to set this relay up such that it flows down based on connectivity. So, when the connectivity sensor, shown here on CCON S11, is above a certain amount, the blowdown will open, lower the connectivity to a certain point, then close. So this is the main screen that you see when a W600 controller boots up. We're going to go to the main menu. Since the blowdown is an output from the controller, we're going to go to Outputs. Now we're going to select which relay that we want to be the blowdown. So usually this is relay 1, so we'll select relay 1. So when we press this, we come into a status page which shows information about the relay. We're going to change this by going into the configuration mode. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure it's in the correct mode we want. We're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. We're going to take a look at mode. Currently it's on-off. This is the correct mode that we want for this relay. If it wasn't, we could go into mode, select the correct one, and then press the check mark. This brings us back to the status page. So we'll press the configuration button again. So the first thing we're going to change is the HOA setting. Whenever you change anything in a relay, it goes to off mode. This is to prevent things from activating while you're programming them. Off means that the relay will never activate no matter what. If we put it into hand mode, you'll see that the relay has activated. So when it's in hand mode, it will run for a predetermined amount of time and then shut off. Auto mode means that it will run according to the programming. So we want it in auto mode. Next, we're going to adjust the set point. The set point is the value at which the relay will activate. So, let's say we wanted it to activate at 1200 microsiemens. We'll enter 1200 here, press the check mark. Our deadband determines when the relay turns off after it activates. For example, if it was a set point of 1200 and a deadband of 25, the relay will activate at 1200 and turn off at 1175. We're going to change this deadband to 100. So now it will activate at 1200 and deactivate at 1100.
Next is output time limit, and that's a very important thing to be programmed into the controller. So the output time limit, if the blowdown has been activated for a very long time, it will count up to this value. Once this value is reached, the blowdown will shut off and will not activate again until an operator comes into the controller and says that it's okay. This is in emergency situations. For example, let's say your connectivity sensor stopped working and was giving you a false reading, and it's blowing down for a very long period of time. If it was doing this and it reached your output time limit, it would stop it in order to prevent you draining your tower and pumping all your chemicals out. So if we were to put it for 8 hours, it means we would activate. Once the blowdown was activated for 8 hours, it would stop. And this is an important thing to set for a bunch of different reasons, but it's also important not to set it too low, because then you can have it turn off accidentally, and then you'll have the opposite problem. You'll have no bleed at all. Reset output timeout. So if you did have an output timeout from the previous relay as we just described, you press here and that would clear it, and then your blowdown would start activating again. Interlock channels is very important. So this gives you a certain number of inputs and a certain number of relays, which will prevent this relay from activating. We have a flow switch set up on D1, so that means that when there's no flow going through the tower, the relay won't activate. Activate with channels. So this is the opposite of interlock channels. So this is when another relay has activated, this will force the relay to turn on. Hand time limit, this is very important. So we mentioned earlier that in hand mode, it'll activate. If it's set to 0, that means it'll activate forever, and you don't want to drain your drum by accidentally leaving it away, so you can set a limit. So for example, you're going to put 5 minutes. That would mean that this relay would activate for 5 minutes, then it would go back to auto mode. Input, very important. So you can see, for example, here we have con S1 and con S2. So you have to make sure that you're pointing to the right sensor. If you have 2 sensors in one controller for 2 different towers, you want to make sure that they're connected to the correct one. Direction, force higher or force lower. So this is very important because it tells you what direction your setting is moving in. So because we are lowering the conductivity, we want it to go from 1200 to 1100, we're going to select force lower. That means that it makes the conductivity go down when we activate the relay. If you put it to force higher, it would open and never close. Lastly is the name, so you can change this to whatever you'd like. So for example, we'll put it to bleed.
And now you can see the bleed has been set up. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about anything you've just seen, please give us a call at 416-240-1920 or visit us at metexcorporation.com. Thanks.